Hi everyone, my name is Corinne and you have found CoryCreates. This is a channel about all things creative. My wheelhouse is cross stitch. I show a little bit of quilting or sewing and a little bit of gardening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope everybody out there is doing great. I am so excited. It's summertime. As I told you all in my last video, I am free. School is out and I have been doing a little bit of stitching. So that is what I'm here to share with you today. I just want to start off and say thank you to those of you that watched my last video. Thank you for all the nice comments. I appreciate them so much. Thank you and welcome to new subscribers. I have quite a few that are new, so thank you for checking me out. And I thank you all for coming back. So what is going on in my neck of the woods? I have quite a bit to share with you today. Like I said, school is out, so you know I'm just happy. I have more time to do a variety of things. The last couple weeks though, I've been very busy. The kids still got me running. They've been in volleyball camp. Trent's had band camp for the last 2 weeks, and he just ended that yesterday. Layla's been at volleyball camp, and she's at another one today. So they've been keeping me running, but I think camps are over, and I'll finally be able to settle into somewhat of my summer routine. My plan was to have like a morning stitch and then of course do my regular stitching that I want to do in the evenings when I watch baseball games, because I watch Cardinal baseball games every day. But I have not been able to find that rhythm yet. So I'm hoping next week. I think they have like a dentist appointment Monday, and then the rest of the week it'll be a little better. I'm going to volunteer in a couple places. We're going to back to the food pantry like we were last summer. And then there's a sewing room here called Sew Hope STL. I'm going to try and start volunteering there. And then there's an urban farm. I love to garden, so I want to get back involved with that, even though I don't have my own space to do that in right now. So I got a busy summer planned, both stitching and otherwise. So what do I have for you today? I have all of my whips that I worked on, kind of a mania wrap up. I did mania a little different, so I'll wrap that up, what I got accomplished. I've got some small purchases that I want to share with you. I have one quilt update, and then I also have the drawing for my 1 year Flosstube anniversary drawing that I had in my last video. So I will pull the names for those and share with you who the winners are. So here in St. Louis, it has been very, very warm up until this week. It has cooled down considerably. We were in the 90s, like high 90s, for quite a stretch. I would say maybe 2 weeks, from right before Memorial Day up until maybe Sunday, and then it's cooled off. Today when I left to take Layla to her camp, it was only 50 something degrees, high of 80. So we're fluctuating a little bit here in the Midwest. I think it's going to be mild over the next week or so. Other than that, just stitching and getting stuff done around here. Project bags. I've been deep into project bags lately because now I have a little more time to work on them. Thank you to everybody that has purchased some over the last few weeks. I greatly appreciate it. Lots of new ones have been stocked, so go over there and check that out if you're interested. The Etsy shop is down below. So what do I have? I'm going to start off. I usually don't have like a set order that I show you all things, but I think today I will. I'm going to show you the 2 projects that are probably going to go away for a little while first, and then I'll jump into the things that I really want to focus on for the next month or so. So this first project, This is Joy by Luminous Fiber Arts. Now you all, this is a small ornament. It should not be giving me the blues that the way that it has. I'll put a picture up here, what it was looking like the last time you saw it, and then you will notice we have taken some steps backwards on this one. So I have had to frog the bird on this project. Let me show you what happened. So this is where I am. Let me find my little pointer stick for y'all. This is where I am, okay? And as you can see, the bird, I'm in the midst of frogging it. Almost done, okay? When I got here, the J was completed, and then I started on the O, which is only one space between the O and the J. But as I was progressing through the O, when I got up here, I had already done part of the O up underneath the bird. It was off. And then when I looked at the chart closely, the mistake was way over here in the bird, the part that I had done at the beginning. So I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I could find the mistake and just frog up to the mistake, but I just felt like on this black fabric, I didn't want to do all that. So I just started frogging the bird completely and the beginning of the O that I had started over here. So I'm almost done. I'm probably going to finish taking that out today. And then I will pick this back up in July and work on it and finish it as part of my Jolly July. I don't love smalls. As you all can see by the projects that I do work on a regular basis, I like big stuff. The little ones always give me the blues. So that is Joy by Luminous Fiber Arts. She has quite a few others that I really want to work on, but I got to get past this one first. And I'm pretty sure part of it is the black fabric. And the other thing, I didn't like the way some of my stitches looked. I'm gonna come up closer. These look fine, but the stitches that were in the bird, they weren't laying correctly. And I've been kind of noticing that in some of my stitching. So I've kind of been going back and reevaluating how I stitch, because I even noticed in Spirit Dancer, which I'm going to show a little bit later, the part that I did years ago, like 20 years ago when I first started the project, those stitches seem neater than the stitches I'm doing now. And so I'm kind of evaluating my process and how I do it and what I can do differently to make my stitches neater. Because when I see some of you all, your stitches are so neat. And I'm like, mine don't look that neat. And maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just being critical of my own work. But one thing I have gone back to with my Heaven and Earth design, because it's just one strand and I do bobbinate, I do have my little sponge that I keep in this little box. I've had this for years, but I just wet it every now and then, and I just run my floss across it to straighten it out if it's kind of crinkly because of the bobbin. And the other thing, was using thread conditioner. I think Thread Heaven is what I used to use, and that no longer is available. So I'm looking for another thread conditioner that I like. I purchased one not too long ago off of a lady on Instagram, but I don't like it. So I'm still looking for a thread conditioner that I like. And then finally, the other thing that I'm doing is, and I knew this, but I just didn't always do it. When you take your threads off and you're separating them, to actually, when you're doing like 2 strands or 3 strands, take each of those individual strands, separate them, then put them back together. That helps your threads lay better, from what I understand. And so I've been trying to do that as well, and then just concentrate and look at how tight I'm pulling my stitches. So I've been kind of reevaluating some things and trying to make sure my stitches are laying as neatly and as nicely as they possibly can. So up next, this is another project that will probably go away because, and I keep saying this, but I end up picking it back up anyway. And that is Annie's Market. And this is from the October 2004 issue of Just Cross Stitch. I love this print and I'm looking forward to completing it, but I think I'm going to put it away until the fall. So, but I did work on it as part of my mania last month. And you all, for me, mania was, I wanted to touch everything that I started or worked on for New Year's Eve 12 by 12. I had 11 projects that were not completed from that Stitchalong day. And out of those 11, I did touch 10. And this is one of them. So this is Annie's Market. I got a little bit down here in this, you know, ground area. I got some of that completed. I added the chimney. And then I came back over here to this awning and some of these hanging plants. So this part is done. I'm moving on. I think the front door is somewhere over here. But I love this project. Let me tell you what I'm working on it on. This is 32 count Rogue Lugana in Moonstone. And I have actually folded this in half, so I'm going to have quite a bit of it left that I think I'm probably going to use on some Christmas ornaments. But that is Annie's Market, and I'm enjoying this one. And I always say I'm going to put it away, and then I end up getting it back out again anyway. So I'm enjoying it, looking forward to continuing with it, but I think for now I'm going to put it away until maybe August. And then I'll get it out so I can kind of get it going for the fall season. Before I forget, the Joy ornament is done on a 16 count Aida black. And the thread that I'm using on that is Weeks Dye Works Envy. Okay. And then on Annie's Market, called for DMC. Okay, the next two projects are projects that I am not necessarily focused on for June, but I don't want to put them away because I may touch them again. And the majority of these, Annie's Market, Welcome, and Bengal Tiger, which are coming up next, I worked on when we went to Texas for Memorial Day weekend. So if you've driven to Texas from just about anywhere, you know that's a long drive. So it's about 9 hours from here. So I got quite a bit of stitching done on these. And even though they are not focuses for this month, I do want to touch them again, I think, for the rest of this month. So the first one is Welcome. This is by 13th Colony. I am doing this on a 28 count linen. I believe it's a natural linen. I picked this up many years ago, and I'm finally getting around to doing it. And as I mentioned in the last video, I have made a mistake somewhere on this side of the chart, I believe. Okay, it's in here somewhere, but I'm gonna keep pressing my way. A lot of the pineapple is beads, and I'm anxious to get to that beading area, and I am well on my way. So here is where I am now. This is done in the called for DMC regular embroidery floss, and these parts on the outside are all done in pearl cotton. But the pineapple itself is DMC, and that is what I am working on. I'm working on those kind of cross hatches on the pineapple itself. So a little bit of progress in that area. I'm excited about it, and like I said, my mistake is somewhere over here, which is why I have not completed the scroll work like I did on this side. But over here I just kind of stopped until I could figure out, because these two pieces weren't lining up and I don't know why. So rather than belabor the point, I'm just going to keep going on the part I can work on, and that's the exciting pineapple. So again, this is Welcome, and it is being done on a 28 count linen. I do not remember exactly what kind it is, but it is a 28 count linen. So up next, we have Bengal Tiger, and I have to insert a picture of what that's going to look like completed because this was given to me out of a magazine, and I am not sure what magazine or chart it came from, but this is what it's going to look like when it's complete. And I'm also going to show you what the state it was in when I showed it to you the last time. And this is where we are now. I am continuing with the face. So last time, I think I had just gotten this nose part together, but now his mouth is there, and I'm working on his chin area. So he is really coming along. I enjoy working on him. And I love how he is jumping off of this fabric. This is a 28 count wheat Lugana from 123 Stitch. And I need somebody to explain to me why wheat Lugana does not come in 32 count Lugana. It only goes up to 28 count. And I love this color so much because so much can be done on it. And this is just browns and blacks, but they are really jumping off of this color fabric. And I just love the results. And I'm pretty sure I have another piece of this, so I'm looking forward to trying to figure out what I want to do on it next. But it's really coming along. Very simple stitching. I think this chart has very little back stitching in it. And this is just a couple hours that I worked on that in the car. So I love this. So I'm going to touch it at least once, okay, during the course of the month. And hopefully I can make a little bit more progress on it. I don't have a goal for this one. I just want to keep making progress on it. Again, this has been a whip or a potential whip for many years, and I finally got it started this year on New Year's Eve. So I'm looking forward to seeing how much progress I make on it by next New Year's Eve. So again, that is Bengal Tiger. Okay, now the rest of these coming up are projects that I definitely want to continue this month. And up first is part of the honeyfairesal. That is the hashtag, and I'll put it up on the screen. And this is Honey Faire by October House. Okay, I am participating in the Stitchalong for this. And it is coming along nicely. I love this chart. I've heard a lot of people talk about the complexity of the hive itself, but you all know I love color changes, so this has not been a problem for me. I have enjoyed immensely working on it. So I will insert where I was last month, and here I am this month. I'm almost done with the hive, you all, and I did spend quite a bit of time working on this one in the car. Maybe an hour or two I spent, but I only have a few stitches to fill in here on the hive. So this is a very enjoyable stitch. I believe it's Helen D that is putting on the Stitchalong. She's already done with hers, of course, but I want to go ahead and finish this by the beginning of July. We're taking another road trip to Chicago in July. Layla has to compete in nationals for volleyball, so I'm going to be going up there. I believe it's the Inspired Needle that is there, so I've already informed my husband I want to stop. And I was going to ask you all if there's any place else I should stop in Chicago or a roundabout area. Let me know any other shops there that I need to check out. But again, this is Honey Faire. I'm almost done with the hive. I've started on like the outer elements, including the bee, which is right here. I'm using a combination of, I believe it's Classic Color Works, Weeks Dye Works, and DMC. There might be also a couple of gentle arts. And what I've started doing with my patterns now, I'm taking a good look at the chart itself before I kit it up, especially if there are fancy flosses or overdyes that need to be used. If there's a DMC conversion and there's just like a little tiny bit that's used in the fancy floss, I will go with the DMC instead. I did use all of these. I think maybe the brown dots, these brown dots here, I just went with 839, which was the DMC called for, instead of trail dust, I believe it was, that was supposed to be used there. But I thought that's such a small area, nobody's gonna be looking that hard at it. So I just used 839 for that. But very enjoyable stitch. This is a 32 count Lugana, and I believe it is ivory. So very enjoyable stitch. I love it, I love it, I love it, and it's progressing along nicely. I should be able to finish this maybe even tonight, and then all I have is the outer elements that still need to be done, and I believe I can get those knocked out by the end of the month. So again, that is Honey Faire, and I'm participating in the Honey Faire Stitchalong, and I'll put the hashtags down below. Honey Faire SAL, and the other one is October House Faire SAL. So all three of those last few projects I took with me to work on in the car. I always take multiple projects, especially if it's going to be a car ride. If I have to go on a plane, then I might just take 2. But if I'm going on a car ride and I'm not driving, I always take multiple projects. And I made sure I touched all 4 of the projects that I took with me when we went out of town. So I did Honey Faire, Chestnut, I'm sorry, Honey Faire, well yes, Chestnut, which I'm getting ready to show you right now, and Bengal Tiger, and Welcome Pineapple. Those were the 4 that I took for sure when we went out of town. So these next 2 projects are Whip Go calls for June. And I have not talked about Whip Go very much, and I'm gonna put my Whip Go board up on the screen. I didn't know if it was gonna work out for me. Yes, in theory, Whip Go sounds great, but I'm the kind of person, I don't like rules. I've come to that conclusion. And so I did not know how this was gonna work out for me. But even though I do have some things I still need to complete, I have enjoyed picking things to put on the board, and it has brought some things to the forefront. I'm also going to put my whip wheel, which I had to spin 2 times this month because that is what my Whip Go board called for, okay? So the 2 that I had called this month was spin the wheel, and whatever I spun was to work on it 2 threads every other day for the month. And that for me was Chestnut. So this is a Teresa Wenztler hand-drawn chart. Lots of quarter stitches, lots of back stitching, but I cut my teeth on Teresa Wenztler as well as Paula Vaughn back in the day, because really I've always liked the intricate patterns, and those were the 2 that had intricate patterns that were readily available. So Chestnut is up next, and I had planned to put it away for the month of June, but it got spun on Whip Go, so I'm going to keep going with it because this will be a focus for July, for Jolly July, and I want to finish it if possible in July. So this is where I was last time you saw it a couple weeks ago, and this is where it is now. Quite a bit of progress. I got the head. This head right here, and I'm starting to come down on the legs a little bit right here. I added that, but the head is the main thing I've been working on. So all I have left is the rest of the mane, the rocker, and the back stitching. But very pleased with Chestnut. It's a great pattern. like all the patterns that I choose, lots of color changes, but that's what I love. So that is my first whip go call for June. I think I had for both of them, this one was every other day, and I didn't realize it was every other day until I went and looked on, I think Sunday, which was like the 5th. So I had to catch up on a couple of days, but I've done my 2 threads, and I did work on this a little bit in the car, so it's gotten quite a bit of work over the last couple of weeks, which I'm excited about. So I will continue with that at 2 threads every other day for the rest of the month. Okay, and that is Chestnut. And the next one is Spirit Dancer. Now you all know the trials and tribulations I have been through with this pattern. Okay, let me show it to you. This is a Marilyn Levitt emblem Butternut Road pattern that I have had for 20 plus years. It's been a whip that long, but I just love the design. I'm considering her a fancy lady. She has a companion piece, Earth Dancer, which I do plan to do, but I will not be doing it on this same linen, even though I have another piece of this linen. This is Prairie Grain linen. Let me put a picture in here of where it was the last time we talked. And you all are going to be surprised by what I'm going to say next. I have enjoyed working on this month. I started, well, I told you this was part of my mania, that I wanted to touch everything I touched 12 by 12. This was one of the items I touched 12 by 12. I worked on it, I think in March a little bit, but it's been slow going because I don't like this fabric. Well, I don't know what happened, but I worked on it on the 31st, the 1st, and the 2nd last week. I had a hard time putting it down. You know, I've never said that about this project, but I have enjoyed it. And I don't know if I'm getting used to the linen, because this linen is very loose. I did change my needle. I used a 26 needle for everything, 26 petite to be specific. Well, I changed to a 24 for this, because whenever I would put the needle through the hole, before I could get my other hand over to pull it through, it would fall back through. So I know that was a source of frustration as well. But changing to the 24 needle, which is a bigger needle, helped. But let me just show you where I am. Here's where we are. I got a lot of this green filled in, and as you can see, I'm working on her sleeve. Or actually, this is actually the collar of the dress, I think. Yes, her sleeve is just this part, but then that collar, that very large kind of shawl. Let me scoot over so y'all can get it all in there. There we go. But this is primarily where I've been working, and now I'm coming down here into the remainder of her dress. I think I'm going to say I love it. I've always loved the pattern, but just the execution of it has not been kind to me. But this, you all, I'm really making progress now. I feel like I've kind of got a rhythm going. So this was a whip go call. I had to spin the wheel, and then whatever project came up, I had to work on it for 5 days. I've already worked on it for 2, maybe even 3. I want to say maybe I worked on it last Saturday as well. So I'm enjoying it. Never thought I'd say that, but I am enjoying it. So my goal for this year is to just press my way and get to her face over here. So again, this is Spirit Dancer by Butternut Road. Wonders never cease. I have 2 more whips to share with you, and these 2 are big focuses for me this month. The first one is Rosena Disery, and here is what it looks like. I wanted this to be a focus for the month of June because of Juneteenth, which is celebrated on June 19th, and I wanted to pick something of cultural significance to me, and this was a great choice. This was my Mother's Day start last month, the 14th, and I'm making a little bit of progress. I had a viewer ask me about how to start this project, and she sent me had a comment about wanting a little guidance on the lettering, because the lettering is over 1 and the rest of the elements are over 2. So I think I'm going to put together a little video for her and anybody else that may be struggling with how to incorporate doing over 1 and then switching to over 2 in their chart. It's not as difficult as it seems, but I think the way it appears, whether it's in Pattern Keeper, which is what I'm using, or on paper. But I'm going to do a quick video for her. I don't know if it's going to be a short or if it'll be a Flosstube extra. I'm not sure yet, but I will work on that this month, I think, because I'm making a little headway. This is being done on 32 count. Let me make sure I get this right. 32 count Wexford by Silk Weaver, and the color is Lovely Lavender. So here's where we were last time. Not a whole lot, but again, I'm in the over 1 portion of the chart, and this is where I am currently. So I'm working on my 3rd row of lettering. Right in the middle, I did do a center start on this simply because I felt like it was going to be easier to start there. And one thing I have decided, I think I'm going to do some additional color changes on this. Now, when I first talked about this last month, I said I was going to need to change this blue because I did not think it was going to show up well on this lavender. I think I'm going to change a lot of these colors. I'm going to go up to Color and Cotton, and when I have some time, and look at their Color and Cotton flosses and maybe choose some to take the place of the DMC, because that is what is called for, is DMC. But I think I'm going to switch some of those colors. I want something to be vibrant that's going to show up well on this lavender. I've got no problem. This is 3371 DMC. I'm just going to keep that on this over 1 part. Now, the other thing I'm doing, I don't know if I was supposed to do this or not, but you know, we can do what we want. But I did 2 over 1 for the lettering, and I think it makes it stand out pretty well. I'm pretty sure you could do 1 over 1 and have no problem with the coverage, but I decided to go ahead and do 2 over 1, and I like it because it kind of looks like it's raised off of the fabric. It has a little bit more thickness to it, so it's kind of raised off of the fabric, and I like that. So that's Rosena Disery. And if you're not familiar with the pattern, lots of people have done it, but this is a sampler of one of the only 1 or 2, or I think there might even be 3 known samplers created by Little Black Girls. And she was actually 15 when she did this. And there's quite a bit of information about her in the pattern, and then there's video that's referenced in the pattern if you're interested in her story. But it's an interesting sampler. I am not a sampler person, but this is one that, because of who did it, I wanted to make sure that I added this one to my wall in my collection. So that is Rosena Disery 1820. And I'm slowly but surely making progress. And I am going a little slower on this, you all, because I do not want to frog 2 over 1. Okay, I want to make sure I'm getting it right and getting all my placements right. And then I think the part that's 2 over 2 will just flow. So that's Rosena Disery. And my last whip is Vintage Baker. And here's what it looks like. I am right here, so about halfway across my first row. I believe there are 3 rows, maybe 3.5, but halfway through my first row finally. And here is where we are, and I gotta back up to make sure you guys can see it all now. But there she is. I'm kind of looking forward to doing this next section because there are quite a bit of large areas of color. That has not been the case in here, okay? But now I've got a few blocks of color that I can usually go through a thread or 2 in a particular section and not have to stop. I can just keep going. Don't get me wrong, it's still a lot of color changes, and I even had a couple of ninja stitches the other day, like 1 stitch of a particular color, and it was like a bright color. So I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. You know, you're talking to a former by the book person, okay? So I really wanted to make sure that I included, even though it's just 1 stitch of 1 color, I went ahead and included it, but I've had quite a few of those in this section so far. So, but there she is. Let me give you the stats on this real quick. So we have, for the month of May, my total ended up being 1,532. So far in June, I have done 1,020. Okay, so I'm already ahead of the game now that I'm not at school. And then for percentage, I'm at 11.57%. And then finally, grand total of stitches is 34,907 out of 301,600. So it's slow going, but it looks great and I love it. So I will continue with that. And that is all of my whips. I have 1 quilt that I want to update you on, and I am going to have Trent come out and help me show it. I am going to show you an updated version of my Ankara quilt that I was working on with the African print fabrics. I was doing half square triangles, and I showed you all my rows, but Trent's going to help me show you my actual quilt top. Okay, I'm gonna show it to you this way, then I'll turn it the other way, but hold it 2 hands. There you go, hold it up. But this is the middle panel. This is gonna be a throw that I plan to have on the couch. And if anybody's watching TV, they can just curl up with it. But these are half square triangles. I basically cut my fabric into charm squares. They were 5-inch blocks. Hold it. And 5-inch blocks come this way. And then I made them into half square triangle blocks, and then I sewed them together and got them all going the same direction. But this was very simple to do. If anybody's interested in a tutorial, I'd be happy to show you. But I really am pleased with how it turned out. And I have a cousin that's getting married, and she has a lot of African prints in her home. Let's show it the sideways again. And I know I have plenty of scraps. I buy scrap boxes from various fabric distributors on Facebook. So, and then I've been in a few swaps. So I've collected lots of fabrics, and I am gonna see if I got enough, or I'm gonna get started on making one for her as a wedding gift. So this is my, I'll just call it my Diamond Ankara quilt pattern. No pattern in particular, just half square triangles that I put together. And the background fabric is Grunge by Moda. It has a gold running through it. but this is one of those sparkly metallic grunges. So that's it. Up next, I've got a little bit of haul or investments and Stitchy Kindness. I'm gonna start with the Stitchy Kindness. I was a part of the Strawberry Lovers Swap on Instagram, and we had a month to make 3 fabric items featuring strawberry fabrics. And I recently posted a picture on Instagram of my Stitchy Kindness, but I thought I'd show it in person since one of the items was a project bag. But my person, I'll put her name down below, she has actually a website. But she sent me 3 items, and they are this pin cushion, and I didn't even notice it. I already have some needles in it, and it feels like it's filled with walnut shells, but it has a paper piece strawberry down here at the bottom and a little pocket. I put my little scissors that I had in there, and I have a few of my needles in there. So I thought that was really nice, very well made, little quilting on the back. So that was my first item. The second item I got was a little needle book, and you'd think, me being a stitcher for 30 years, I'd have a needle book, but I don't. So I am looking forward to using this one. It's also very cute. Coordinating prints with a little bee on there. And this is the back, quilted as well with a little binding on it. And then here is the inside, and there, I love the large floral and the strawberry patch on there, and the pockets and the rickrack closure. So it's beautiful. And then the last piece she gave me was the project bag. Love the zipper, very gentle opening zipper. Love the floral. And Good Morning Big Fluffy is her website. So thank you again. I just wanted to thank her publicly again for that. So that was my Stitchy Kindness. My purchases are as follows. I'm going to start with my fabrics of the month. And as you know, I am in the Stitch Me. And I get alternating months. One month it's bright colors, next month it's neutrals. And my neutral this month is Bronze Age. And I get the 32 count Lugana. I love this one. It's beautiful. So I don't know what I'm gonna put on it yet, but this one is definitely a contender. And I'm always amazed, this is one side, but then if you look at the other side, it's a little bit different. It's a little darker, got a little darker spots. So that's one of the things on my list, is to learn how to dye fabrics, and there's no reason I can't get something, attempt to dye something this summer. So that is my Stitch Me. This is the Atomic Ranch fabric, and I always forget the name of the shop because it's not the same as the name of the fabric, and I'll put it down below. But this is, let me see if I back up, that's a little closer. This is Eucalyptus. This is a 28 count Lugana Eucalyptus. And it's Stitch New England is the shop. But this is reading bluer than it actually is. This is actually a kind of an olive, a drab green, but it's definitely not reading that way. It's reading bluer, at least to me. But I like this one as well. So both of them, hopefully I will find a project to go with for each of them. But I love those, both of those fabrics. And the last things I have are some Etsy purchases. Now they have started, and it's and I'll put the ladies' names down below that are part of the I think it's Rogue Mama Stitcher is one for sure, and I'll have to put the other ones down below because I did not make a note of them. but they have been doing my first soda Stitch SAL. I'll put that down there as well if that's not right. But I did not join it. It started, I think, Memorial Day weekend, but I think I might jump in. I don't even know the rules, how long it is or anything like that, but I'm gonna give it a shot because I've had some soda Stitch in my Etsy like favorites for quite a while, but I just never bought any. And they did have a sale a week or so ago, so I went ahead and got some. And I haven't decided which one for sure I'm going to start with, but I know it won't be this one. This is the one I originally had in my cart, the cupcakes. But if I do this one, I'm not going to do all of the cupcakes. Okay, and I don't think I'm going to put the words if I do it. So, and I may just pull some and do a few of them like in a row. So for instance, this one, this one, this one, this one, and maybe that one was what I was thinking. I probably won't do the ones that are not cupcakes, but I gotta work that out. So that was the first one, cupcakes. The second one, and this is the one, this is a strong contender, and that's the bakery. Y'all know how I am about food. But I like this one as well. And then finally, this one is, I didn't even know this was in there. I just happened across it as I was going through my the Soda Stitch part of Etsy. Flower high heels. I love this. I have been trying to obtain the Charting Creations high heel charts. I first saw them on Teresa Little Stitcher, and she completed them. I know she's done at least one or two. But they are not readily available in print. They're not available on their website. And you can request that when they do become available, that they contact you. But I think the last time they contacted me, because it did become available one time last year, and it went to my junk mail. So I did not see it right away. And when I did see it, of course it was gone by then, because I know many people are probably trying to get them. The main difference, I think this might not be as detailed as those, and the shoes on the other charts are facing the other way, but I still like this one. So this one's a strong contender. So it's between this one and the bakery as to which ones I'm going to start. But this is, I love this. I can see this in a powder room, you know, just something to spice up a powder room, or maybe even my closet if I get a walk-in closet. But I love that. So those are my charts from Soda Stitch, and I have one more, and this one I'm blaming on Minnie All X's. She has a floss tube, and she recently did this one, and it is African Woman and Baby, and there's the baby right there. But this is by what's the name of it? I don't know if I'm saying it right. It's either Haynes or Hannes Craft, but I really like this. I love the basket of fruit and the chicken right there. I just like everything about it. Okay, so I will be doing this one soon. Looks like a very simple stitch. They give you 2 pages for the chart, and there are all my colors, lots of colors. So I'm looking forward to putting that together, getting that up, and getting that one started soon rather than later. I love all of these. So those are all of my investments for the last couple of weeks. We have our giveaway, and we had 2 items. The first one was this 28 count Cashel linen in platinum. It is a 17 by 24 inch piece, and the keyword was linen, and the winner for that is Rita Smith. So congratulations, Rita. And as a matter of fact, Rita had sent me an email, a very nice email, so it was wonderful hearing from her. She called herself a committed even weave stitcher, which I'm right there with you, Rita. But she does dabble in linen, so this will be great. Give something for her to dabble in a little more. So Rita, enjoy it. I know you will be able to find something to use it on because it is a nice neutral color. And the last item was this African print Ankara project bag, one of my favorite prints. The keyword for this was bag, and the winner that I did for this one, the winner is Mandy_stitching. So Mandy, congratulations. Both of you can find my email address down below and send me an email with your mailing information, and I will get these out in the mail to you ASAP. Thank you for entering. Thank you to all of you that had comments. I really appreciate it. And I have a question for my fellow Flosstubers. What random comment picker do you use? I'm not a fan of the one I use for this one, and the YouTube one, I think it costs money now. They just don't give us nothing, do they? But anyway, if you guys have one in particular that you like, let me know. So that is everything I have to show you today. My plans for the rest of June are to continue, of course, with Vintage Baker. I keep saying I have a goal of 5,000 stitches a month. I think I'm pushing that, so I'm going to lower that to 3,000 stitches a month simply because I'm working on other things. And I really want to make progress on that, but still make progress on the other things I'm working on. Last summer, when I started my Flosstube, I was still pretty much a monogamous stitcher. And so I have broken out of that a little bit, so I want to continue that, but at the same time make significant progress on that pattern. So that's a primary whip for the rest of the month. My next one would be HAED, the Honey Faire. I want to finish that. I think I can finish that. And then I want to continue to work on Chestnut because I'm slating that for a July finish. I'm going to continue to work on Spirit Dancer because that is a whip go call and I'm actually enjoying it. So I want to ride that wave while it's still going. And I want to continue with Rosena Disery. I want to make some significant progress on those words. I'm going to maybe have a couple of new starts. I have Berry Bakery still slated to start with Stitching with the Housewives and a couple others that I'm considering, so we will see. One thing about my new starts, I don't want to have any more than 20 whips. And I think right now I'm sitting at 17. And I'll kind of insert a picture here of my notebook that I keep track of my whips in, the page in it. But I've highlighted all the things that I have finished, but I want to have no more than 20 whips moving forward for any reason. So I got to keep that in check. So if I finish something, I can definitely start more, but I don't want to start anything if I'm getting too close to 20 whips. I'm not a, I think it's process stitcher. I am definitely a progress stitcher. I like to see progress. So I'm going to continue with those projects. I'm also going to at least touch Welcome Pineapple and the Bengal Tiger because I just like those seem to go quick. So I want to at least touch those as well. But everything else I'm putting on the back burner for later in the summer to pick back up again. Like I said, I'll probably come before you before we go, but we are going to Chicago early July. So again, if you guys know of any particular shops I should try and swing by, I'm going to be there for a few days, 4 or 5 days. So let me know that. Other than that, I just want to do a few shout outs. People that have mentioned me recently and people that I have been watching that I wanted to call to your attention if you're not familiar with them. The first one is One Stitch at a Time. She's mentioned me in a couple of her previous videos, and I just wanted to say hey to her and thank you for the mention. She does her floss tubes with her daughter. So they were just talking about my project bag for Vintage Baker in their last video. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Jamie with Teeny Weeny Stitches. So glad she is back with us on Flosstube. If you have not checked her out, you all, first of all, she has a very sweet, calming spirit that I just enjoy watching. And then she just has a wide variety of patterns and charts that she works on. I kind of feel like we are kindred stitchers in that I don't think she has a particular style, and I don't think I have a particular style that I like to stitch. I have very eclectic taste, and I think that is across the board in everything in my life, from my clothes to everything that I, you know, how I cook, you know, I have very eclectic taste. So I feel like she and I are kindred in that. She is a native St. Louisan, even though she lives in Florida. And she also has those little Dachshunds that I want one of those so bad. My husband has promised me I can get one eventually. So she has those cute little Dachshunds, hence the name Teeny Weeny Stitches. So, hey Jamie, good to hear from you. Glad everything is getting better for you. And if you all have not watched her, check her out. She is a wealth of information and has beautiful work to show. And then the other person that I wanted to just mention that I have been watching, and that is Lost in Stitches. And I'll put her name down below. She is just delightful. She is a fairly new floss tuber. But she has a lot going on, but she's a busy woman, but she gets a lot of stitching done. She got some long dogs, I believe, that I've been kind of admiring that she's doing. I believe she's got modern folk embroidery. I have not tackled either one of those yet, but I want to. But she's just got some very nice videos, very informative videos, lots of beautiful stitching to show. So I encourage you, she's from Canada, if I didn't say that already, but go ahead and check her out as well. And the last person I wanted to mention is K Threads and Stitches. And I love her channel. You all, she is a beautiful finisher. Beautiful finisher. She does, I mean, when she finishes something, she makes me want to go finish something. I haven't done it yet, but she's very inspirational with what she does. And she does just simple things, but she does them so well that it looks like they're expensively done. And I don't even think they are. She gets a lot of her supplies from Hobby Lobby, like a lot of finishers do, but I just love what she puts together. She does color changes in her charts. She does a lot of Little House Needleworks, Country Cottage Needleworks, Stitching with the Housewives, Primrose Cottage. She does a lot of the things that a lot of us do, but she switches it up. She changes some of the floss colors. She uses what she has, which I love that as well. So shout out to Kay. Go check out her channel. Again, it's K Threads and Stitches, and she is wonderful. And I also love you all that she gets right to the point. She don't waste time. She don't waste words. She gonna show you that stitching, and I love that about her. She's a to the point kind of person, and I appreciate that. So those 4 people, go check them out. And I hope you all have a continued good summer. Mine is off to a good start, even though these kids keeping me busy. But like I said, I think next week I'll be able to settle in more of a routine and a rhythm and include some more stitching in that. Okay, I know I got a baseball game coming on tonight that I'm planning to watch, so I'm getting my all these projects back in their bags so I can pick what I'm going to work on tonight. If you all have any questions for me, please put them down below. I love talking to you all, and I will see you in at least a couple of weeks. I will probably be on here again by the end of June and give you an update and let you know if I've been able to do more stitching as planned. So have a great summer. Have a great rest of June. Keep cool, and I'll see you soon. Be blessed.